close your eyes for just a moment, imagine the soft scent of pine drifting through cool evening air. The forest around you is settling into the quiet rhythm of night. Leaves barely move. The last birds have finished their songs. Even the wind seems content to rest among the branches. Everything feels wonderfully still. So still that it would be easy to believe nothing is happening at all. But beneath your feet, only a few inches below the blanket of fallen leaves, an ancient conversation has already begun. It has no words, no voices, no sound, yet it has continued almost without interruption for hundreds of millions of years, long before the first bird learned to fly, long before the first flower opened beneath the sun, long before the first human ever wandered into a woodland searching for shelter. The forest was already speaking, not through language as we know it, but through tiny pulses of chemistry, gentle currents of electricity, and delicate living threads that weave patiently through the darkness beneath the soil. Tonight, we're going to follow one of those whispers, not with hurried footsteps, but slowly, as though the forest itself were inviting us to walk beside it, perhaps somewhere beneath the roots of the tree beside you. An old giant has just finished another day beneath the sun. High above, its leaves have gathered precious energy from fading daylight, turning sunlight into sweet sugars, the quiet currency of life. You might imagine those sugars remaining safely within the tree that created them, but that isn't always what happens. Instead, some begin an unexpected journey down the trunk, into the roots, then outward, into the darkness, toward a young sapling waiting patiently beneath the shadow of its elders. No one sees the exchange. No sound marks its arrival, yet somewhere in the cool earth, a tiny life survives another night because an older tree quietly chose to share. And if that sounds almost unbelievable, you're not alone. Scientists once thought the very same thing. Now, let your footsteps become a little slower. The evening has settled fully around us. Above, the forest canopy has become a tapestry of deep greens and gentle shadows, while the first stars quietly appear through tiny openings between the leaves. The world feels wonderfully unhurried here. There is nowhere to be, nothing to solve, only an ancient woodland, patiently waiting to share one of its oldest secrets. Imagine kneeling beside the roots of a great oak that has stood here for centuries. Its bark is rough beneath your fingertips, shaped by countless winters and gentle springs. Birds have nested in its branches. Deer have rested beneath its shade. Generations of people may have walked past without giving it more than a passing glance. To us, it seems perfectly still, yet beneath the surface, the tree is astonishing. strands of the finest silk. They are almost unimaginably thin, so delicate that hundreds could rest side by side within the width of a single human hair. They branch softly through the soil, around tiny stones, past sleeping insects, beneath carpets of moss. They are not searching randomly. Over millions of years, they have learned the quiet geography of the forest, exploring every small pocket of moisture and every grain of earth rich with minerals. Eventually, one delicate thread brushes against the root of another tree, not by chance alone, but because this hidden network has been patiently growing for decades, sometimes centuries, quietly linking neighbor after neighbor beneath the woodland floor. Soon another connection forms, then another, until the roots of dozens, perhaps hundreds, of trees become gently woven together through this living tapestry beneath the earth. If we could somehow watch it from above, the forest would no longer appear as separate trees. Instead, it might resemble a constellation spread across the ground, each tree a quiet star, each fungal thread a glowing pathway, connecting one life to another. Scientists have given this remarkable partnership a memorable nickname, the Wood Wide Web. It is a charming comparison, though not a perfect one. Unlike our internet, nothing here is built by machines. No computers decide where information should travel. There are no screens, no keyboards, only living organisms, each following the gentle rhythms shaped by evolution over hundreds of millions of years. And yet, something extraordinary still happens. Through these delicate pathways, tiny gifts begin their journey. A little water, a little phosphorus, a little nitrogen, a little carbon gathered from sunlight high above the forest canopy. Not enough to notice with our eyes, but enough to change the life of another tree, waiting quietly in the shade. There is something deeply comforting about that thought. In a world that often celebrates competition, the forest quietly reminds us that life can also flourish through cooperation, not because the trees make conscious decisions like we do, but because these ancient partnerships have slowly evolved into one of nature's most elegant ways of helping an entire ecosystem survive together. For countless evenings like this one, through gentle rain, through summer warmth, through the silence of winter snowfall, these exchanges have continued without applause or recognition. Patient, steady, almost invisible. And as we continue our quiet walk together, we'll begin following one of these tiny travelers. A single message, beginning with just one leaf, before setting out on an extraordinary journey through one of the oldest communication networks our planet has ever known. The night has settled gently over the forest now, What could its language possibly sound like? Surely not voices, not words carried by the wind, no whispered conversations between branches, no ancient songs echoing beneath the trees. And yet, for every moment that we have been standing here together, messages have been moving all around us, not above the ground, but below it. It is tempting to imagine the forest as a place where nothing changes very quickly. Trees seem wonderfully patient. An oak may spend hundreds of years in one quiet place. A pine can watch generations of animals come and go without ever taking a single step. To us, they appear almost frozen in time, but appearances can be wonderfully deceptive. Inside every tree, millions of tiny events unfold every second. Water climbs upward from the roots toward leaves dancing far above. Sugars flow downward after another day of gathering sunlight. Cells quietly divide. Roots continue their slow exploration through the earth. And all the while, information is moving. Imagine for a moment that a single leaf, high in the canopy, is gently nibbled by a small caterpillar. The caterpillar isn't hungry enough to strip the tree bare. It simply takes a few careful bites before continuing on its way. To us, it seems like such a tiny event that it hardly deserves notice. But to the tree, everything has changed. Within moments, the injured leaf begins releasing special chemical compounds, not because it feels pain in the way people or animals do. Plants experience the world very differently. Instead, these chemicals are part of an ancient biological language, refined over hundreds of millions of years through evolution. A message has begun. Deep inside the leaf, tiny cells recognize that their surface has been damaged. Almost immediately, molecules begin passing this information from one cell to the next, like gentle ripples spreading across the surface of a quiet pond. The signal slowly travels through the living tissues of the tree. There is no rush. Nature rarely hurries, yet the message is surprisingly efficient. The tree is quietly informing itself that something unexpected has happened. Nearby leaves begin preparing long before the hungry caterpillar reaches them. Some start producing bitter compounds that make them far less enjoyable to eat. Others increase natural defensive chemicals, already resting quietly within their tissues. Nothing dramatic happens. There is no alarm, no panic, only gentle preparation, a calm response to changing circumstances. There is something rather beautiful about that. The tree does not react with fear. It simply listens, adjusts, and continues growing. As scientists began studying these quiet responses, they realized something remarkable. Trees are constantly exchanging information within themselves, not through nerves like ours, not through thoughts, every root, every leaf belongs to the same conversation. And what makes this story even more extraordinary is that sometimes the conversation doesn't stop with one tree. Sometimes the message continues its journey beneath the soil, finding neighboring trees waiting quietly in the darkness. A warning passed gently from one life to another, and that is where our journey becomes even more fascinating. For a little while, let us stay with that single tree. The caterpillar has long since disappeared into the darkness, unaware that its tiny meal has awakened something remarkable. To our eyes, nothing has changed. The branches remain still. The leaves continue their quiet dance in the evening breeze. The forest seems every bit as peaceful as before, but hidden beneath the bark, a gentle pulse is making its way through the tree. It is easy to imagine that communication must always happen quickly. A spoken sentence lasts only a few seconds. A text message arrives almost instantly. Even a flash of lightning races across the sky before we can blink. Nature, however, often tells its stories much more slowly, and somehow that makes them no less extraordinary. Inside the tree are countless living tubes that quietly carry water, sugars, minerals, and countless tiny molecules from one place to another. These pathways are the tree's lifelines. Every hour of every day, they transport the essentials of life from root to leaf and back again. Yet they can also carry something far less visible: information. When one part of the tree experiences change, specialized molecules begin traveling through these living highways, quietly informing distant branches about what has happened. Scientists sometimes compare these signals to messages, not because trees think in words, but because the result is surprisingly similar. One part of the organism knows something, and another part soon knows it too. Imagine standing inside a great cathedral. You strike a single bell. The sound slowly rolls through every archway until the entire building has heard the same gentle note. The tree's messages behave in much the same way, not as sound, but as waves of chemistry moving patiently through living tissue. Sometimes there is something else as well, a faint electrical change, not the dramatic electricity that powers our homes, not the sharp flash of lightning crossing a summer sky. Instead, a tiny shift in voltage from one cell to the next. Every living cell holds a small electrical difference across its outer membrane. When a leaf is injured, those electrical balances can begin changing, and that change slowly spreads through neighboring cells like ripples traveling across an undisturbed lake. For decades, this idea seemed almost unbelievable. Electricity belonged to animals, to nerves, to brains, are slower, simpler, different from the neurons inside our own bodies, but they are real, and they help distant parts of the plant coordinate their responses. Perhaps this surprises us, because we often imagine plants as passive, standing, waiting, doing very little at all. But that picture has never truly been accurate. Every tree is constantly sensing its surroundings, the warmth of the morning sun, the coolness of approaching night, the direction of light filtering through the canopy, the pull of gravity, the gentle touch of climbing vines, the arrival of rain, even the careful bite of a tiny insect. Each moment becomes part of an endless stream of information, flowing quietly through its living tissues, not rushed, not chaotic, simply observed, responded to, then folded gently into the rhythm of another day. There is something deeply comforting about that rhythm. The tree never worries about tomorrow. It never regrets yesterday. It simply notices, responds, and continues growing toward the light. Perhaps that is one of the reasons forests feel so peaceful to us. Their lives unfold with extraordinary patience. Nothing is hurried. Nothing is wasted. Every response arrives exactly when it is needed. As the night grows deeper around us, the forest continues its invisible conversation. Millions of tiny messages are moving through trunks and branches, through roots and leaves, too small for our eyes to follow. And beneath the soil, another listener is waiting. Not another tree, but the ancient fungal network itself. Because sometimes the message does not end inside a single tree. Sometimes it continues its journey into the darkness below, where delicate fungal threads quietly carry whispers from one ancient neighbor to another. The forest has become wonderfully quiet now. Moonlight filters gently through the canopy, painting soft silver patterns across the moss below. The cool night air carries the comforting scent of damp earth and pine needles, while somewhere in the distance, an owl calls only once before silence gently returns. Everything feels perfectly still, yet high above us. Something very small has just happened near the very top of an old maple tree. A single leaf has been disturbed, not by a storm, not by the wind, but by a tiny caterpillar slowly making its evening meal. Its delicate jaws leaf. It has no thoughts, no feelings, no awareness, but every living cell is constantly observing the tiny world around it. The moment its surface is broken, specialized proteins resting within those cells detect the damage. Almost instantly, they recognize that something has changed. Not danger, as we understand danger, simply change. And living things have become remarkably good at responding to change. Tiny messenger molecules begin appearing inside the damaged cells. They move gently from one neighboring cell to the next, each passing the information onward, like lanterns being quietly handed through the darkness. No one cell understands the entire story. It doesn't need to. Each simply passes along what it has received. Slowly, patiently, the message spreads farther from the wounded leaf. Scientists sometimes compare this to a ripple moving across still water. The comparison is beautiful because it captures something important. No one pushes the ripple. It simply travels. The same is true here. The message doesn't race through the tree. It unfolds naturally, flowing through living tissues that have been carrying information for millions of years. As the signal moves, nearby leaves begin preparing themselves, not because they know what is coming, but because evolution has quietly taught countless generations of trees that preparing early often means surviving longer. Some leaves begin producing slightly bitter compounds. Others increase protective chemicals already stored inside their cells. The changes are almost impossibly small, invisible to every bird resting overhead, invisible to every fox wandering below, invisible even to us. And yet they are happening all around us. Imagine for just a moment if we could slow time until these hidden changes became visible. The tree might appear to glow softly from within. Gentle waves of light would travel through each branch, around every bend in the trunk, slowly descending toward the roots below. Not frantic, not chaotic, simply steady, like breathing. Perhaps this is why forests have always felt peaceful to people. Even their responses are calm. There is no panic, no wasted movement, only quiet adaptation, a patient conversation, unfolding at the pace of nature itself. And then the message reaches the roots. For thousands of years, scientists believed this was the end of the story. The tree had informed itself. Its own branches had begun preparing. The mystery seemed solved, but hidden among those roots, waiting in the cool darkness, another ancient listener has been quietly following every step of the journey, a listener that has been connecting forests long before humans ever learned to speak. And in the next part of our journey, we'll discover that sometimes a message doesn't doesn't stop with the tree that first received it. Sometimes the forest itself begins to listen. The message has reached the roots, far below the quiet forest floor, far below the gentle moonlight dancing across the leaves. The tree continues its ancient conversation. The roots rest in cool, dark earth that has not seen the sun for many months. Tiny pockets of water cling to grains of soil like morning dew upon a spider's web. The scent here is rich and comforting, carrying the fragrance of rain, moss, and slowly returning leaves. It is a place few creatures ever see, and yet it is one of the busiest places in the entire forest. The roots themselves are remarkable. Most people imagine them as simple anchors, holding the tree firmly against the wind. They certainly do that, but they are also explorers, patient explorers. Every year they extend a little farther, carefully weaving around stones, drifting toward hidden moisture, gently searching for minerals dissolved in tiny droplets of water. Unlike branches reaching toward the light, roots reach toward possibility. They never know exactly what they will find, only that somewhere in the darkness there is always something worth discovering. As the gentle signal continues its journey downward through the tree, it arrives at thousands upon thousands of tiny root tips. These delicate growing ends are unlike the thick roots we sometimes see stretching across woodland paths. They are soft, pale, almost impossibly fine, each one constantly sampling the world around it, touching, sensing, growing, listening. Scientists sometimes describe roots as remarkable sensory organs, not because they think, not because they possess awareness, but because they are constantly gathering information about the world. Hidden beneath our feet is the soil becoming drier. Has fresh rain arrived? Are valuable nutrients nearby? Has another root quietly appeared beside them? Every moment, the answers are gently folded into the life of the tree. There is something beautifully calming about imagining this unseen activity. Above us, the forest appears asleep. Below us, millions of tiny discoveries quietly continue without interruption. The old oak beside us has likely spent centuries learning the landscape beneath its own branches. Its roots remember where underground streams slowly drift after heavy rain. They know where rich patches of minerals often collect. They have patiently grown around ancient stones that were already old when the tree was young. It is a slow kind of knowing, measured not in days, but in decades, not in footsteps, but in quiet seasons. As the signal settles into these roots, another remarkable exchange begins. The tree doesn't simply receive from the soil, it also gives back. Tiny amounts of sugar created high above in sunlit leaves rising portion of these sugars quietly leaves the roots, not by accident, not as waste, but as part of one of the oldest partnerships on Earth. Somewhere in the darkness, something has been waiting. Not another tree, not an insect, not an animal, something far older than forests as we know them, something so delicate that you could hold hundreds of its tiny threads across your fingertip, yet together they quietly connect entire woodlands. As our eyes slowly adjust to the darkness beneath the soil, the first pale strands begin to appear, almost like moonlight woven into the earth itself. Patient, ancient, silent, waiting to tell the next part of the story. If we could remain here beneath the forest floor, our eyes would slowly become accustomed to the darkness. At first, everything would seem empty, only rich brown earth stretching in every direction, tiny stones resting exactly where they have rested for centuries, fragments of old leaves quietly returning to the soil from which they first grew. Nothing appears to move, but nature often hides its greatest wonders in places where we forget to look. Wait patiently, just a little longer. There, between two grains of damp earth, a single white thread, so fine that it almost disappears against the darkness. Then another, and another. Soon they seem to appear everywhere, countless pale strands wandering gently through the soil, twisting around pebbles, slipping beneath tiny roots, disappearing into the distance, before emerging once again only inches away. They do not glow, they do not shimmer, and yet, in our quiet imagination tonight, perhaps we can picture them as faint silver threads, softly illuminated by moonlight filtering impossibly deep beneath the earth, not because they truly shine, but because it helps us follow one of nature's most beautiful stories. These delicate threads belong to fungi, not the mushrooms we notice after gentle autumn rain. Those familiar mushrooms are only the smallest part of an organism whose true body lives quietly underground. What we see above the surface is simply a brief appearance, a moment. The real life of the fungus unfolds here, hidden from almost every wandering eye. Patiently, silently, continuously, some of these living threads have been growing for decades. Others may have slowly expanded beneath the same woodland for far longer than any tree standing above them today. They ask for no attention, no applause, only the chance to continue their quiet work. As one tiny thread drifts through the soil, it gently brushes against the tip of a young root. There is no collision, no struggle, no invasion. Instead, something remarkably peaceful begins to happen. The thread wraps itself around the root with extraordinary care, almost almost like two old friends greeting one another after a long journey. Over time, the connection grows stronger. The fungus begins reaching farther into the surrounding earth than the root could ever manage alone. Its countless tiny branches slip into microscopic spaces too small for roots to enter, discovering droplets of water hidden between grains of sand, tiny crystals of phosphorus, traces of nitrogen, minerals patiently waiting in places the tree could never reach by itself. Then, just as quietly, the exchange begins. The fungus offers what it has found, not freely, but willingly. In return, the tree shares something equally precious, far above us. Today's sunlight has already been transformed into sweet sugars inside thousands of emerald leaves. Some of those sugars have traveled all the way down through the trunk, into the roots, and now they continue into the waiting fungal threads. It is an exchange so ancient that scientists believe the earliest plants on land may never have survived without partnerships like these. Long before forests filled the continents, before birds sang among branches, before mammals wandered beneath the trees, plants and fungi had already begun learning how to help one another, not through planning, not through intention, but through millions upon millions of years of quiet evolution. One gives water, the other gives sugar. One gathers minerals, the other gathers sunlight. Neither is complete alone. Together, they become something far greater than either could ever be by themselves. And perhaps that is one of the forest's gentlest lessons. Some of the strongest relationships on earth are also the quietest, hidden beneath our feet, where no applause is ever heard. An ancient partnership continues its patient work, one delicate thread, one tiny root, one silent exchange at a time. For a little while, let us remain here, beneath the roots, beneath the moss, beneath the quiet footsteps of a world that rarely notices what is happening below. There is no need to hurry. Nothing beneath the forest ever does. The tiny fungal thread we have been following continues its slow journey through the cool earth. Around it, thousands of other threads branch outward in every direction, creating an intricate tapestry so vast that no single creature could ever see it all at once. Each thread is alive. Each one is searching, not blindly, but patiently. It slips through spaces smaller than the finest root could ever enter, around grains of sand no larger than a speck of dust, between droplets of water held gently within the soil. To us, the earth feels solid. To the fungus, it is an endless landscape filled with tiny rivers, winding passages, hidden chambers, and quiet treasures waiting to be found. so often, it discovers a minute crystal of phosphorus, a trace of nitrogen, a pocket of cool water left behind by yesterday's gentle rain. These are small things, almost unimaginably small, yet to a tree they are as valuable as sunlight itself. Without them, new leaves cannot unfold, roots cannot grow, seeds cannot awaken. So the fungus gathers these precious gifts with extraordinary care. Then, almost without pause, it returns home, not to a nest, not to a burrow, but to the waiting roots wrapped gently within its living embrace. Here, another exchange quietly begins. The minerals drift into the tree. The sugars drift into the fungus. Neither takes everything. Neither gives everything. There is a balance, one that has been quietly refined over hundreds of millions of years. It is easy to imagine nature as a place of endless competition. We often hear phrases like survival of the fittest, as though every living thing spends every waking moment struggling against its neighbors. And certainly, competition exists. But here, beneath the forest floor, another story unfolds. One built not only on survival, but on partnership. The tree cannot stretch delicate threads through every grain of soil. The fungus cannot capture sunlight high above the canopy. Each possesses something the other lacks. And so, instead of living apart, they live together. There is something deeply peaceful about this arrangement. No contracts, no promises, no negotiations, only millions upon millions of tiny exchanges happening quietly every single day. Imagine standing in this same forest 100 years ago. The very same partnership was taking place beneath your feet. Now imagine standing here 100 years from today, long after today's leaves have fallen, long after today's birds have sung their final songs. These silent exchanges will almost certainly continue, patiently, steadily, without asking for recognition. Perhaps that is one of the reasons ancient forests feel so timeless. The trees above us grow taller. Some fall. Young saplings rise to take their place. The seasons endlessly turn. Yet beneath them all, the quiet work never truly stops. As scientists have slowly uncovered these hidden relationships, many have spoken about them with genuine wonder, not because the forest behaves like magic, but because reality has proven to be more beautiful than anyone expected. The deeper we look, the more cooperation we discover, the more patience we find, the more countless lives become gently woven together beneath the earth. And then something even more remarkable begins to reveal itself. At first, researchers believed these fungal threads, nutrients carried more than water, more than minerals, more than sugars. What if, along these same delicate pathways, information could travel too? The idea seemed almost impossible. How could something without a brain, without a heart, without eyes or ears, help pass along a message? Yet the evidence continued to grow. One quiet experiment after another, one careful observation after another, each suggesting that somewhere beneath this peaceful forest, the conversation might be even richer than anyone had ever imagined. And so, as the moon rises a little higher above the silent canopy, our gentle journey continues, not to follow nutrients this time, but to follow a whisper that may begin with one tree, yet somehow find its way to another. A single caterpillar crawls across an oak leaf, just a hungry little creature looking for dinner. It has spent the day slowly making its way through the branches. Its tiny feet grip the edge of a leaf that has spent the afternoon quietly drinking sunlight. Dew has long since disappeared, replaced by the cool stillness of evening. Above, the stars continue appearing one by one, while below, the forest settles into another peaceful night. The caterpillar pauses. For just a moment, everything is perfectly still. Then, it takes a bite, only the smallest bite, hardly larger than the tip of a pencil. If you happen to be walking beneath this old oak, you would never notice. The leaf barely moves. The caterpillar continues chewing without hurry. The forest remains wonderfully quiet, yet hidden inside that single leaf, something remarkable has already begun. Not panic. Trees do not panic. Not fear. Trees do not feel fear. Instead, the damaged cells simply notice that something has changed. Tiny proteins resting inside the leaf awaken, almost like countless little watchkeepers who have spent the entire day quietly observing the world around them. The moment the leaf is broken, they begin passing information from one cell to the next. No cell understands the whole story. Each simply whispers, "Something happened here." The neighboring cell receives the message, then quietly passes it onward, and the next one does the same, like lanterns being handed through the darkness, or ripples spreading across an undisturbed lake. Slowly, patiently, the information begins moving through the leaf. If we could somehow shrink ourselves until every plant cell became as large as a room, we might watch tiny messenger molecules drifting through microscopic passageways, carrying instructions that have been refined by evolution for hundreds of millions of years. No voices, no words, only chemistry. The tree isn't asking who is eating me. It isn't wondering what should I do. Instead, simply says, "Prepare." Nearby leaves begin making tiny changes. Some quietly increase bitter compounds. Others begin producing defensive chemicals that make future bites a little less enjoyable. The caterpillar never notices. It simply continues eating, unaware that the tree has already begun quietly preparing every nearby leaf. Perhaps this is one of the most beautiful things about forests. Nothing happens with urgency. Everything happens with patience. The response is measured, gentle, efficient, almost graceful. And as the quiet signal continues traveling deeper into the tree, it approaches the roots once again. Only this time, it will not stop there, because waiting in the darkness, the ancient fungal network is already listening. The caterpillar continues its quiet meal. It has no idea that the leaf beneath its tiny feet has begun telling a story. There are no cries for help, no alarm ringing through the forest. Instead, the message unfolds with remarkable gentleness deep inside the leaf, where sunlight spent the day becoming life. Tiny cells begin speaking to one another in the only language they have ever known. One cell changes. Its neighbor notices. Then another, and another. The message travels not as a sentence, but as a gentle cascade of chemistry. Scientists have discovered that damaged leaves begin producing signaling molecules, including one known as jasmonic acid. Despite its complicated name, you can simply think of it as one of the tree's quiet messengers. It isn't shouting. It isn't commanding. It is simply passing along a piece of information. A leaf has been damaged. That single fact is enough. As the messenger spreads through the leaf, nearby tissues begin changing long before the caterpillar ever reaches them. Some leaves slowly increase the production of compounds that taste bitter to hungry insects. Others prepare tiny defensive proteins that make digesting the leaves far more difficult. The tree does not attack. It simply becomes a little less inviting, almost like gently closing a door instead of building a wall. There is something wonderfully peaceful about that. Nature often chooses elegance over force, and perhaps that is why forests have endured for hundreds of millions of years, not because they are the strongest, but because they have become extraordinarily patient. If we could slow time until every second became an hour, the tree might appear to glow softly from within, not with light, but with movement. Tiny rivers of information flowing through every branch, quietly, steadily, never rushing. The caterpillar continues eating. The tree continues responding. Neither is angry. Neither is cruel. Each is simply trying to survive another evening beneath the stars. This quiet balance has shaped forests, slowly adapted, an endless dance, never truly won, never truly lost, only continuing. Scientists sometimes describe these signaling molecules as part of the plant's communication system. But perhaps tonight, as we wander peacefully through this ancient woodland, it is nicer to imagine them as whispers, soft whispers carried from one living cell to the next. Each whisper says only what is needed, nothing more, nothing less. Prepare. A nearby leaf receives the whisper. It quietly begins making its own adjustments. Another leaf receives it, then another. Before long, an entire branch has gently awakened to what began as nothing more than the smallest bite. The remarkable part is that this happens every single day, not just here, but in forests across the world, in towering redwoods wrapped in morning fog, among quiet beech forests where autumn leaves blanket the earth, within tropical rainforests, alive with warm evening rain. Countless tiny conversations begin, continue, and quietly fade away before anyone walking beneath the trees ever notices. Perhaps that is one of nature's greatest gifts. Its most beautiful stories are rarely the loudest. They happen quietly, patiently, almost invisibly, as our own evening walk continues. The message has now reached the base of the tree. It has traveled from a single wounded leaf, through branches, down the trunk, and into the ancient roots, resting peacefully beneath the cool earth. Until now, the conversation has remained entirely within one tree, but something remarkable is about to happen, because waiting beside those roots, woven gently through the darkness, like strands of the finest silk, an ancient partner has been listening all along, and for the first time tonight, the whisper may leave the tree that first spoke it. The old oak has done everything it can. Its leaves have quietly prepared. Its branches have carried the message. Its roots now rest peacefully beneath the cool earth once again. For thousands of years, this is where scientists believed the story ended. A tree notices something. The tree responds. The tree survives. A beautiful story, but only half of one. Because beneath the roots, another listener has been waiting all along. Imagine lowering your hand into the cool soil beside the oak, not deep enough to disturb the forest, only enough to brush gently through the soft earth. You would never see them with your eyes. They are simply too fine, too delicate, yet wrapped around almost every tiny root are countless fungal threads, thinner than a strand of silk, resting so closely against the tree that together they almost seem to breathe as one. They have spent the entire day working quietly, searching for water, gathering minerals, trading tiny gifts with the roots sugar, minerals for sunlight, a wonderfully elegant trade. Then, something unexpected began appearing in experiments. Researchers noticed that trees connected through these fungal partnerships often behaved differently from trees growing alone. A neighboring tree, untouched by insects, would sometimes begin preparing its own chemical defenses before any caterpillar had reached its leaves. It was as though somehow the warning had arrived early. How? That simple question would occupy scientists for many years. Perhaps chemicals were drifting through the air. Perhaps nearby roots were interacting directly. Or perhaps something beneath the soil was quietly helping the message travel. No one knew for certain. Even today, researchers continue studying exactly how different signals move through these underground relationships. The forest still holds many secrets, and science is careful not to claim more than the evidence can support. Yet what has become increasingly clear is that the underground world is far more connected than anyone once imagined. The fungal threads are not passive passengers. They are living bridges. Every day they connect roots that would otherwise remain strangers. Every hour they exchange water, minerals, and carbon between partners. And because these connections already exist, they create pathways through which information may also influence neighboring plants, whether through the fungi themselves, through shared root zones, or through several mechanisms working together. There is something wonderfully humbling about that. The forest is not built from isolated lives. It is built from relationships, some obvious, many hidden. Imagine standing in this woodland during a gentle summer rain. Every tree appears separate. Each trunk rises alone. Each crown reaches toward its own patch of sky. But beneath your feet, those boundaries begin to disappear. The roots overlap. The fungal threads intertwine. The soil itself becomes a meeting place where countless lives quietly touch. Perhaps this is why ancient forests often feel so peaceful, not because everything is the same, but because everything belongs. Every towering oak, every young birch, every fern unfolding beside an old stone, every tiny mushroom appearing after the rain, each plays a small part in something much larger than itself. The whisper that began with one small caterpillar has now reached this hidden crossroads beneath the earth. It is no longer simply the story of one tree. It has entered the shared world beneath the moss, and somewhere nearby, another tree waits quietly in the darkness. It has not been touched. Its leaves remain whole. Its branches sway gently beneath the moon. Yet before this peaceful night is over, it may begin changing too. Not because it has seen danger, not because it has heard a sound, but because somewhere beneath whisper at a time, a short distance away, perhaps no more than 20 gentle steps through the moonlit forest. Another tree stands quietly beneath the stars. It has no way of seeing the old oak. Its branches do not touch. Its leaves dance beneath their own patch of sky. From above, the two appear to be strangers, separated by moss, by fallen branches, by the quiet distance of the woodland. If we knew nothing of the hidden world beneath our feet, we would assume they lived completely separate lives. And for centuries, that is exactly what people believed. But tonight, beneath the cool earth, their story is quietly becoming one. The younger tree rests peacefully. Its leaves have gathered sunlight throughout the day, and now they simply sway with the evening breeze. Nothing has disturbed them. No hungry insect has reached its branches. No leaf has been torn. No warning has arrived through the air. Everything seems wonderfully ordinary. Yet deep beneath the roots, something subtle begins to change. The same delicate fungal threads that embraced the old oak continue their patient journey through the soil, branch after branch, thread after thread. They weave through the darkness until eventually they reach another waiting root. There is no dramatic moment, no flash of light, no sudden awakening. Nature rarely tells its stories that way. Instead, the change is almost impossibly gentle. Within the younger tree, tiny chemical pathways begin shifting. Cells quietly prepare. Defensive compounds begin increasing ever so slightly. Nothing the human eye could ever notice. Nothing that would disturb the peaceful night surrounding us. Only countless microscopic adjustments, unfolding exactly as evolution has shaped them to do. Scientists have spent many years studying these remarkable observations in carefully controlled experiments. They found that trees connected through shared underground fungal networks often responded differently from trees growing in complete isolation. Sometimes neighboring plants began activating protective responses before they themselves experienced damage. Exactly how every message travels is still an active area of research. Some signals may move through shared fungal partners. Others may travel through root interactions, or even through chemicals drifting softly through the air above the forest floor. Nature, as it so often does, appears to use more than one language at once. Rather than relying upon a single pathway, the forest quietly layers one conversation upon another. Air, roots, fungi, chemistry, each contributing a small part to a much larger story. There is something deeply reassuring about that. The forest does not depend upon perfection. It depends upon connection. Many gentle pathways, many quiet partnerships, invisible pathways carrying life's quiet exchanges in every direction. Two forests, one reaching toward the stars, the other reaching toward one another. Perhaps this hidden forest is the more remarkable of the two. It asks for no attention, no admiration. It simply continues its patient work, night after night, century after century, long before we understood it, long before we even imagined it could exist. And somewhere beneath this peaceful woodland, the whisper that began with the smallest bite of a caterpillar has now become something larger. It's not louder, simply shared. One tree noticed, another quietly prepared, and neither one ever spoke a single word. For a little while, let us leave the caterpillar behind. The forest has already answered its quiet warning. The leaves have prepared. The whispers have traveled. Now, another story is unfolding beneath the earth, one that is perhaps even gentler. Imagine standing beside the oldest tree in this woodland. Its trunk is broad enough that several people, hand in hand, could barely reach around it. Deep grooves run through its bark, each one carved by rain, snow, sunlight, and the slow passing of centuries. It was already growing here before the youngest trees nearby had ever broken through the soil. Every spring has added another quiet ring beneath its bark. Every autumn has scattered another blanket of leaves around its roots. It has watched storms come and go, dry summers, gentle winters. Generations of birds have built nests among its branches. Generations of squirrels have hidden seeds beneath its shade. Everything around it has changed, yet the old tree remains. Calm, patient, steady, is nearby, only a few meters away. A tiny sapling reaches toward a small opening in the canopy. It is young. Its trunk is no thicker than your thumb. Its leaves receive only scattered patches of sunlight as towering branches above gently claim most of the day's light for themselves. Life beneath an ancient forest canopy is not easy. The tallest trees collect much of the sunshine before it ever reaches the ground. Down here, light arrives in brief golden moments. A few minutes in the morning, perhaps another few in the afternoon. For a young tree, that often isn't enough. Its leaves work faithfully. They gather every ray they can. But sometimes, they simply cannot make enough food to grow comfortably. If forests were only places of endless competition, this tiny sapling might quietly fade away. For many years, that is exactly what scientists expected. The largest trees should win. The smallest should lose. It seemed like the obvious story. Nature, after all, was often described as a relentless competition for survival. But forests, as we are slowly slowly discovering love surprising us. Deep beneath the soil, the old tree continues producing far more sugar than it immediately needs. Every bright summer afternoon, thousands upon thousands of leaves quietly transform sunlight into energy. Most of it keeps the giant tree alive. Some becomes new wood. Some repairs old branches. Some is stored for winter. And then something remarkable happens. A tiny portion begins another journey. Slowly, almost lazily, the sugar drifts downward through the trunk, into the roots, toward the waiting fungal threads wrapped gently around them. The fungus receives its familiar gift, but not all of it remains there. Some continues onward, out through the delicate underground network, toward another set of waiting roots. The sapling, night after night, small amounts of carbon make this quiet journey beneath the forest floor, not enough to transform the young tree overnight, not enough to make it grow before our eyes, only enough to help a little extra energy, a little extra chance, another quiet season, another spring, another year. There is something profoundly comforting about imagining this hidden generosity. Above the ground, the old giant casts a shadow. Below the ground, it quietly shares a little of the sunlight it gathered long ago. That same afternoon, scientists have observed carbon moving between connected trees through shared mycorrhizal networks, especially between older and younger individuals under certain conditions. Exactly how much is transferred and why continues to be explored. The forest, as always, keeps some of its mysteries close, but perhaps that is part of its beauty. Science rarely removes wonder. More often, it reveals just how much more there is to discover as the moon climbs a little higher above the silent canopy. The tiny sapling continues resting beneath its ancient neighbor, completely unaware, if awareness is even the right word, that somewhere in the cool darkness below, a quiet gift has just arrived. No celebration follows, no applause, only another peaceful night in one of Earth's oldest partnerships. And beneath the moss, the ancient conversation continues. Stay here for just a little longer. Beside the old tree, there is no better place to spend a quiet evening. The moon now hangs gently above the canopy, its pale light resting upon the highest branches, while the forest floor remains wrapped in cool shadows. A faint breeze carries the scent of cedar and damp earth, and somewhere nearby, water continues its endless journey over smooth stones. Everything feels timeless. Perhaps that is because some of the trees around us have measured time differently than we do. We count years. They count seasons. thousands of gentle sunrises, thousands of peaceful nights, thousands of autumns, each one letting go of another blanket of golden leaves. The great tree beside us has witnessed all of them. Every spring, its roots reached a little farther. Every summer, its branches welcomed more sunlight. Every winter, it rested quietly beneath frost and snow, conserving energy until warmer days returned. Without ever taking a single step, it came to know this small corner of the world with extraordinary intimacy. It knows where rainwater lingers after a gentle storm. It knows which side of the hill warms first beneath the spring sunshine. Its roots have slowly grown around ancient stones that were already resting here before the tree itself first emerged from the soil. There is something comforting about such quiet familiarity. The tree does not travel. Instead, the world slowly comes to know it, and the tree slowly comes to know the world. Scientists often describe older trees as important hubs within underground fungal networks, not because they lead the forest, and not because they make decisions, but simply because their roots have had far longer to grow, branch, and form partnerships beneath the soil. Over centuries, those connections become wonderfully extensive, like old footpaths through a familiar woodland, patiently created, patiently maintained. If we could somehow watch these hidden pathways glowing beneath the earth, the oldest trees would appear surrounded by countless gentle threads, stretching outward in every direction, not commanding, simply connected. Perhaps that is why the youngest saplings often find themselves growing close to these ancient giants. Their roots enter a world where countless quiet relationships already exist, a world patiently built over lifetimes. Imagine the little sapling we met earlier. Its first leaves tremble softly beneath the evening breeze. It is still learning the rhythm of the seasons. Its roots have only begun exploring the cool darkness below. Every discovery is new. Every drop of water is found for the first time. Every tiny partnership is only just beginning. Nearby, the old tree continues another peaceful night. It asks for nothing. It announces nothing. Yet simply by remaining here, by continuing its ancient partnership with the fungi, it becomes part of a much larger story, a story that may one day outlive even itself. There is something quietly beautiful about that thought. Forests are never built by a single generation. Each tree inherits a living landscape, shaped by those that came before. Each fallen trunk slowly returns nutrients to the soil. Each autumn leaf becomes tomorrow's earth. Each root leaves behind pathways that future lives may one day explore. Nothing is wasted. Everything gently returns. Perhaps that is why old forests feel so different from young ones, not because they are older alone, but because they hold so expanded year after year through towering trees whose roots continue weaving the woodland together beneath the moss. It is a memory written into the forest itself. As our peaceful walk continues, we begin to realize something rather extraordinary. The forest has no leader, no architect, no central mind quietly directing every living thing. And yet, countless individual lives somehow create remarkable harmony together, a harmony so gentle that many people spend their entire lives walking through forests without ever realizing that beneath every quiet step, an ancient community has been patiently working together all along. The forest has become even quieter now. The breeze that gently stirred the branches has settled into stillness. Moonlight rests softly upon the highest leaves, while below, the woodland is wrapped in cool shades of silver and deep green. If you listen carefully, you may notice something curious. Not a sound, but a feeling. The feeling that this ancient place somehow belongs together, not as thousands of separate trees, but as one living woodland. For many years, scientists believed that if an old tree shared resources through underground fungal networks, it probably made little difference where those resources ended up. A little carbon here, a little water there. The network simply followed the easiest paths available. It seemed like the simplest explanation. Nature often follows simple rules, but forests have a gentle way of surprising us. Imagine once again the great old tree beside us. Its roots stretch quietly through the earth, like the slow unfolding of time itself. Around them, countless fungal threads continue their patient work, carrying minerals inward and sugars outward through pathways that have existed for decades. Nearby, beneath a patch of soft moss, a tiny sapling reaches upward through the darkness. Its first few leaves are still small enough to tremble with the gentlest breath of wind. Every morning, it waits for little windows of sunlight between the towering branches above. Sometimes, those moments last only a few minutes, yet somehow it continues growing, year after year, one quiet season at a time. Scientists began asking an extraordinary question. Could the old tree simply be helping any young tree nearby? Or was something more subtle taking place? To find out, researchers carefully traced tiny amounts of carbon moving through connected forests. The results were intriguing. In several studies, older trees appeared to send more carbon towards seedlings that were closely related to them than toward completely unrelated neighbors. The pattern wasn't absolute, and scientists continue to debate exactly how and why it happens. But it suggested something unexpectedly delicate about the relationships hidden beneath the soil. The old tree was not making choices in the way faces, not remembering children. Nature doesn't require consciousness to produce remarkable outcomes. Instead, millions of years of evolution had quietly shaped partnerships that often favored the continuation of closely related young trees. It is a subtle difference, but an important one. The forest isn't acting from intention. It is following patterns patiently refined across unimaginable spans of time. Still, there is something wonderfully comforting about imagining those tiny gifts of carbon making their slow journey beneath the earth. A little sunlight captured high among ancient branches, finding its way to a young sapling waiting below. The journey is completely invisible. No leaf celebrates. No root announces its arrival. Only another peaceful exchange beneath the cool soil. Perhaps that is the forest's greatest lesson. Its kindest moments happen where no one is watching, far away from applause, far away from recognition, simply because the quiet relationships beneath the earth continue doing what they have always done, night after night, season after season, century after century. And as our own journey through this woodland continues, another mystery slowly begins to emerge. If resources can quietly move through these hidden pathways, could entire forests, not just individual trees, help keep one another alive during times of hardship? That gentle question will carry us into the next part of our evening walk. Stay beside the little sapling, just for a while longer. There is no need to rush our journey tonight. The forest has all the time in the world. A cool breeze drifts quietly through the canopy, carrying the faint fragrance of cedar, damp moss, and leaves that have rested upon the forest floor for countless autumns. Somewhere nearby, a small stream continues its endless conversation with smooth stones, sounding exactly as it did yesterday, and perhaps exactly as it will tomorrow. The young tree stands peacefully beneath its towering neighbors. It asks for nothing. It reaches upward with quiet determination, gathering every small patch of sunlight that slips through the branches above. Some mornings are generous. Golden light pours through an opening in the canopy, warming its tiny leaves for an hour or more. Other days, the sky is wrapped in gentle clouds. Rain falls softly instead. The forest grows dim. For the little sapling, those are difficult days. Without enough sunlight, it cannot produce as much sugar as it needs. Growth slows. New leaves wait a little longer before unfolding. Its roots continue exploring patiently beneath the soil. But every season becomes a careful balance between what is gained and what is quietly spent. Yet it is not alone. Far beneath the cool earth, where roots disappear into darkness, the old giant connection between them has never truly rested. Every warm afternoon, the ancient tree gathers far more sunlight than it immediately requires. Thousands upon thousands of leaves spread across its enormous crown quietly transform light into energy. It has earned that abundance over centuries. Its branches have climbed steadily toward the brightest parts of the sky. Its roots have patiently expanded through rich soil, shaped by generations before it. And so, when the days are kind, there is often a little more than it needs. Scientists believe that under certain conditions, some of this extra carbon can move through shared fungal partnerships toward younger seedlings growing in deeper shade. It isn't a constant flow, and it doesn't happen in every circumstance. But careful studies suggest that these quiet exchanges can help young trees survive the long wait for sunlight. I find that thought wonderfully comforting, not because the old tree is choosing kindness in the human sense, but because nature has spent millions of years discovering that healthy forests often flourish through relationships rather than isolation. One tree prospers, another quietly benefits. The forest itself becomes stronger. Perhaps that is why ancient woodlands often endure storms that would overwhelm younger forests. They are not simply collections of trees. They are communities shaped by countless unseen partnerships beneath the soil. Each season gently strengthens those connections. Spring brings fresh roots. Summer brings abundant sunlight. Autumn returns fallen leaves to the earth. Winter asks every living thing to rest. Again and again and again, the cycle continues, never hurried, never interrupted. As the years pass, the tiny sapling grows a little taller. Its roots wander farther into the cool darkness. Its own partnerships with the fungal network quietly expand. One day, perhaps many decades from now, it too may become one of the great trees of the forest. Its branches will cast gentle shade. Birds will build nests among its limbs. Its roots will weave themselves into the same ancient network that once helped it survive. Without realizing it, the young tree slowly becomes part of the very system that once supported its earliest years. There is something deeply peaceful about that circle. Nothing truly stands alone for long. The forest is always becoming itself again. Old trees become soil. Soil becomes life. Life becomes shelter. Shelter becomes another forest. Every ending gently prepares the next beginning. As we continue our quiet walk beneath these ancient branches, another question begins to drift into our thoughts. If forests can quietly help one another through peaceful seasons, what happens when truly difficult times arrive? When rain no longer falls? When the soil begins to dry? When an entire woodland must endure the long silence of drought? Do these hidden conversations simply fade away? Or do they become even more important? That is the next secret the forest is patiently waiting to share. The seasons continue their quiet dance. Spring has long since faded into summer. The mornings arrive a little earlier now, and golden light pours gently through the canopy, warming every leaf that reaches toward the sky. For many weeks, the forest has been content. The streams have flowed softly over their familiar stones. The moss has remained cool beneath wandering feet. The air has carried the fresh scent of growing leaves. Everything has unfolded just as it has for countless summers before, until one morning, the rain simply doesn't come. At first, no one notices. The birds continue singing with the sunrise. The squirrels leap happily between branches. The breeze still carries the sweet fragrance of pine and cedar through the woodland. It feels like another beautiful summer day. Then another passes, and another. The clouds drift overhead without opening. The tiny stream becomes just a little quieter. The soft earth beneath the moss begins losing its gentle coolness. Days stretch into weeks. Sunlight grows warmer. The afternoons become still. Even the wind seems to slow, as though careful not to disturb the growing silence. The forest does not panic. It has known dry summers before. Many of the oldest trees standing here have lived through dozens of them. Some have survived droughts so long ago that no human living today remembers they ever happened. Patience, once again, becomes the forest's greatest strength. High above us, thousands of leaves continue collecting sunlight, but something begins to change. Tiny pores upon each leaf, called stomata, quietly begin to close. These microscopic openings are the tree's gentle connection to the atmosphere. During ordinary days, they open to welcome carbon dioxide from the air, allowing the tree to continue building sugars from sunlight. But every open pore also allows precious water to escape. When the forest becomes thirsty, the tree makes a careful compromise. It gathers a little less sunlight so it can hold on to a little more water. Growth slows, not because the tree is giving up, but because survival sometimes means moving more gently. If you were walking through the woodland, you would hardly notice. The leaves remain green. The branches still sway peacefully above. Everything appears almost exactly the same. Yet beneath the bark, millions of tiny adjustments are quietly taking place. The tree is becoming more careful, more patient. Every drop of water now matters. Deep beneath the forest floor, the fungal threads continue their patient search. Their world is changing too. Tiny pockets of moisture that were easy to find only weeks ago have become more difficult to reach. The delicate threads stretch farther through the soil, exploring spaces between grains of sand where the last cool droplets still remain hidden from the summer heat. There is something almost comforting about imagining this quiet determination. Nothing rushes, nothing despairs. The forest simply adapts, one careful moment after another. Scientists have long admired this remarkable resilience. A mature forest is not simply a collection of individual trees facing hardship alone. Every tree experiences the changing season together. Each responds in its own quiet way. Some species conserve water earlier than others. Some continue growing slowly. Others pause almost entirely, waiting patiently for kinder days to return. It is not a competition to see who can endure the longest. It is an ancient rhythm, learned over millions of years. As evening slowly settles across the woodland, long shadows stretch between the trunks once more. The air cools ever so slightly. The scent of warm pine rises gently from the forest floor. Everything feels peaceful again. And yet, deep beneath the roots, the hidden network remains quietly awake. The fungal threads continue exploring. The roots continue listening. The trees continue exchanging tiny gifts of water and carbon whenever conditions allow. During difficult seasons, those ancient relationships may become even more valuable than before, not because the forest has suddenly changed, but because its quiet connections were always there, waiting patiently for the moments they were needed most. As darkness gently wraps itself around the woodland, once again, a single drop of water clings to the tip of a root deep beneath the soil. One tiny drop, almost invisible, yet somewhere nearby, another living thread has already begun its slow journey toward it. The forest, even in its thirst, has not stopped searching. The forest has become quieter than before, not silent, for a forest is never truly silent. A wood pigeon calls somewhere in the distance. A cricket begins its gentle evening song. Leaves brush softly against one another whenever a breeze wanders between the branches. Yet beneath these familiar sounds, there is another kind of quiet, the quiet of patience. The woodland has stopped reaching quite so eagerly toward the summer sky. Instead, it has turned its attention downward, toward the cool earth, toward the roots, toward the hidden world that has quietly supported every season of its life. If you could gently rest beside one of the old trees tonight, you might notice nothing unusual. Its crown still stretches proudly into the moonlight. Its bark still carries the familiar scent of warm cedar and rain-soaked moss from springs long past. It does not appear worried. Nature rarely wears its challenges on the surface. Instead, youngest roots continue searching through the soil. These tiny roots are astonishingly delicate. Many live only a short time before quietly fading away and being replaced by new ones. They are the explorers of the forest, always growing, always sensing, always searching for the smallest pockets of life hidden beneath the earth. Wrapped around them are the familiar fungal threads we've come to know. Together, root and fungus move through the darkness like old companions walking a path they have followed for millions of years. Where one cannot reach, the other often can. The fungus slips between grains of soil, so closely packed that even the youngest root cannot enter. There, hidden in microscopic spaces, tiny films of moisture still remain, only a few molecules thick, far too small for us to ever notice, yet enough to matter. The fungus gently absorbs what little water it finds, not in great streams, not in rushing rivers, only in countless tiny droplets, gathered one after another. A slow harvest, patient work, the sort of work the forest understands best. Scientists have learned that these fungal partnerships often help trees access water that would otherwise remain beyond the reach of their roots alone. The fungi do not create water, nor can they rescue every tree from a severe drought, but by extending the effective reach of the root system many times over, they improve the tree's chances of finding precious moisture hidden deep within the soil. Sometimes, survival is not about finding abundance. It is simply about finding enough. Enough for one more day. Enough for another sunrise. Enough to wait for the clouds to return. Perhaps there is something quietly comforting in that thought. Nature rarely asks for perfection, only persistence. The old tree understands this without understanding at all. It does not count the days without rain. It does not wonder whether next week will be wetter than this one. It simply continues the quiet work of being alive. Each morning, its leaves welcome the light. Each afternoon, its roots continue their search. Each evening, its countless living cells gently settle into another peaceful night. There is no frustration, no impatience, only rhythm. Around the tree, the forest shares the same gentle determination. Ferns curl their leaves a little tighter to hold moisture. Moss waits quietly beneath the shade, protecting the soil from the hottest sunlight. Even the fallen leaves from years gone by continue serving the woodland, forming a soft blanket that helps slow the loss of precious water from the earth below. Nothing in the forest works entirely alone. The living help the living, and even though plants growing nearby. In the forest, almost everything eventually becomes a gift for something else. As the night deepens, the air begins to cool. A gentle mist gathers low among the trunks. The woodland breathes a little more easily now. Then, almost too softly to notice, something changes. Far above the canopy, beyond the stars, hidden behind a veil of clouds, the wind shifts. Not dramatically, just enough. A faint scent arrives, the unmistakable scent of distant rain. The trees do not celebrate. They do not know that relief may be only hours away. Yet somewhere beneath the quiet earth, the roots continue waiting with the same ancient patience they have always known. Because whether the rain arrives tonight, or tomorrow, or many days from now, the forest understands a truth that has carried it through millions of years. Every dry season eventually gives way to another spring. Take a slow, gentle breath. Our long summer has finally reached its quiet turning point. The forest is still wrapped in darkness, but something feels different now. The air is cooler against the bark of the old trees. The wind, which had spent so many days warm and dry, now carries the soft fragrance of distant clouds. The woodland is waiting, not anxiously, only patiently. It has waited before, many times. Then, without fanfare, the first raindrop arrives. It lands upon a single leaf high in the canopy, a tiny crystal of water, perfectly round, catching what little moonlight still remains before quietly slipping toward the tip of the leaf. Another follows, then another. Soon a gentle rhythm begins. Not a storm, not a downpour, just the soft music of rain returning to an old friend. Across the forest, thousands upon thousands of leaves welcome the water. Each tiny droplet rolls along veins that have patiently carried sunlight all summer long. Some gather at the edges of leaves before falling gracefully to those waiting below. Others drift from branch to branch, slowing their journey through the woodland. The forest has become its own gentle waterfall. Every leaf, every twig, every needle, helping the rain descend just a little more slowly. It is one of nature's quiet acts of kindness. If all the rain struck the earth at once, much of it would simply run away. Instead, the canopy catches it, holds it, shares it, giving the thirsty ground time to drink. Below us, the forest floor receives its first cool drops in many days. The moss softens almost immediately. The scent of damp earth rises into the night air, rich and comforting, carrying with it a fragrance so familiar release a molecule known as geosmin. After rain awakens the earth once again. Perhaps that is why the smell feels so ancient, because it truly is. Long before people existed, long before forests filled every continent, rain had already been writing this same peaceful story. Deep beneath the soil, the tiny fungal threads awaken to a changing world, not because they had fallen asleep. Their work never truly stopped. But now, the spaces between grains of earth begin filling once again with delicate films of water. Tiny underground rivers quietly return. Minerals that had rested motionless during the dry weeks slowly begin dissolving into the moisture. The hidden pathways of the forest become easier to travel. The roots notice. The fungi notice. Every living partnership beneath the woodland quietly breathes a little easier. Above the ground, the old oak opens countless microscopic stomata once more, those tiny gateways upon its leaves, which had remained carefully closed to conserve precious water. Slowly welcome the morning air again. Carbon dioxide drifts gently inward. Sunlight arriving with the first pale glow of dawn begins another day's remarkable transformation. Light becomes sugar. Air becomes wood. Water becomes life. It is a miracle so ordinary that it happens almost unnoticed. Every sunrise, every forest, every day is nearby. The little sapling receives its own share of the morning. Its smallest leaves, washed clean by the gentle rain, glisten with tiny droplets that sparkle like scattered stars. The soil surrounding its roots feels cool again. The ancient fungal threads continue their quiet partnership beneath the earth. Nothing about the forest feels hurried. Even recovery happens slowly. One drop, one root, one new leaf at a time. Perhaps there is a lesson hidden here, not one the forest is trying to teach, only one we are fortunate enough to notice. Life does not always rush back after difficult seasons. Sometimes it returns exactly as the rain has tonight, softly, patiently, without demanding attention, as the eastern sky begins changing from deep blue to gentle shades of silver. The birds have not yet begun their morning songs. The woodland enjoys one final moment of perfect stillness, a quiet pause between one season and the next, and beneath is almost at its end. The first light of morning has not quite reached the forest floor. High above, the eastern sky has begun to soften from deep midnight blue into the gentlest shade of gray. The stars, one by one, quietly fade into the growing dawn. The woodland feels wonderfully peaceful, as though it has taken one long, slow breath. And now, it simply rests. If we were to leave this place now, if we quietly walked back along the mossy path without looking behind us, it would be easy to imagine that the story had ended. But forests do not have endings, only continuations. Long after the last human footsteps disappear, the quiet work beneath the earth goes on. A root continues its slow search through the soil. A fungal thread discovers another tiny pocket of water. A young sapling unfolds a new leaf toward a narrow beam of sunlight. An old oak shares another small measure of carbon gathered during yesterday's afternoon. None of these moments ask to be seen. None require an audience. They simply happen together, patiently. Perhaps that is the greatest secret the forest has been keeping all along. Not that trees communicate, not that fungi weave invisible highways beneath the earth, not even that ancient giants quietly support the smallest saplings. Those are all remarkable discoveries, but they point toward something even deeper. Life is rarely as separate as it first appears. We spend much of our lives looking at the surface of things. We see trunks standing apart, leaves belonging to different branches, flowers blooming in different corners of the woodland. Everything appears wonderfully individual. Yet beneath the surface, the boundaries begin to soften. The roots meet, the fungi connect, water flows, carbon travels, nutrients drift quietly through living partnerships that have been patiently growing for millions upon millions of years. The forest is not a single organism. Science is careful about that. Every tree remains its own living being, with its own roots, its own leaves, and its own quiet life. And yet, through countless ancient relationships, they become something greater than simple neighbors. A community, one that has survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, changing climates, and the passing of unimaginable stretches of time. There is comfort in knowing that, because it reminds us that some of Earth's oldest successes were built not only through competition, but through connection, through patient partnerships, through countless quiet exchanges that no one ever applauded. As the morning light slowly filters through the canopy, tiny droplets of rain still cling to the edges of the leaves. Each one reflects a small piece of the waking sky. For just a moment, the entire forest seems covered in little stars. Then, one by one, the droplets fall back to the earth, back forest looked toward the trees with curiosity. Somewhere beneath the moss, a message begins. Perhaps a leaf has welcomed the first rays of sunlight. Perhaps a root has found fresh water after the night's gentle rain. Perhaps a fungal thread has delivered another tiny gift to a waiting sapling. We will never know exactly which conversation is unfolding. There are simply too many. Millions of tiny whispers, millions of gentle exchanges. Every hour, every season, every year, while cities awaken, the forest continues speaking, while oceans rise and fall with the tides. The forest continues speaking, while children grow, while mountains slowly wear away, while generations come and go. The forest continues speaking, not with words, not with voices, but through chemistry, through sunlight, through roots, through ancient fungal threads, and through the patient rhythm of life itself. So the next time you find yourself walking beneath a canopy of green, perhaps you'll pause for just a moment. You'll notice the cool scent of the earth after rain, the quiet strength of an old tree, the gentle carpet of moss beneath your feet, and you'll remember that hidden only a few inches below your footsteps, an ancient conversation is quietly continuing, one that began hundreds of millions of years ago, one that has never truly fallen silent, and one that will continue peacefully, patiently, long after this evening's story has drifted into dreams. So as sleep gently finds you tonight, may your thoughts wander through quiet forests where every root has a story, every leaf greets the morning light, and beneath the soft earth, the oldest conversation